All right, Shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. And also peace and safety to the Akim that spread across the four corners of the world. It's pushing out the truth with all diligence and putting their lives on the line to do so. The brother Karas is out here out of Great Millstone, Atlanta. Just back at you again, with the lesson. As you can see on the screen, I have an article pulled up. Just going into, more, pressure put on, the tribes, mainly, or specifically the Northern Kingdom. The whole, deportation, with ICE and, and Trump, basically deporting, the Northern tribes back to their countries, and it's going to continue. The scriptures speak about, going through, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, going through Jacob's trouble, which I have, pulled up, but I'm going to read this article first, a little on this article first. And it's May 19, which was yesterday, 2025. It says, U.S. Supreme Court lets Trump end deportation protection for Venezuelans. I believe that's the tribe of Zebulon. And it says, the U.S. Supreme Court allowed Donald Trump's administration on Monday to strip about 350,000 Venezuelans living in the United States of a temporary protected status given under predecessor Joe Biden, as the Republican president moves to ramp up deportations as part of his hardline approach to immigration. You see, so about 350,000, Venezuelans are going to be, deported, back to their homes, in which they're poor. They have nothing. A lot of them poor. They have nothing to go back to. Majority of their families, are probably in America. So these are harsh times, for the Northern Kingdom. All right. So it says the court granted the Justice Department's the request to lift San Francisco's based U.S. District Judge Edward Chen's order that had halted Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem's decision to terminate the deportation protection conferred to Venezuelans under the Temporary Protected Status, or TPS, program. You see, so it was only temporary to where, they, would allow, the Venezuelans to be only to live here and to work. And a lot of it is for, work purposes. Esau is doing, I know in my area here in Atlanta, Esau is doing a lot of building apartment complexes and high rises, building plazas and so on and so forth. And mainly, Issachar, Zebulon, those, working tribes, are taking part in that, man. All right. But Esau, he basically used them for what he needed them for and sent their ass back home. Under President Donald Trump's watch, man. So I'm gonna touch on Jeremiah 30:7. It says, "Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble." You see, the Jacob's trouble isn't only for, the Southern Kingdom, man. This is for all 12 tribes, man. More laws are going to be established that's going against you. More families are going to get deported, or oppressed. More deaths. And so on and so forth, man, because it says, and even the day is nothing like it into it. So it has to intensify. The pressure has to has an increase, on all of us, man. All right. But if you're not hook, line, and sink with Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, then hey, you got something coming for you, man. Esau isn't going to continue to protect you, or to hold back, how you really feel about you, because at the end of the day, it's hate, it's enmity between, Israel and the modern day Egyptians, but it says, but he shall be saved out of it. You see, and who is that? The elect. So the Lord is going to protect, the elect, from the midst of Jacob's trouble, man. Because the elect is going to be in the middle of it too, but the Lord is going to save them, by way of protection, and ultimately by the way of the chariots. It's via chariots, man. That's the ultimate salvation. You see? So I'm just speaking to the Northern Kingdom now. And you gotta wake the hell up, man. That's 350,000 people that's being sent back home, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be more than that. It's Revelation chapter 12 and 12. I'm gonna grab this before I close up. It says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil Esau is coming down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth he have but a short time. You see, so this devil knows that his rulership is limited. He's running on a borrowed time right now. So he's going to continue to bring that pressure into the tribes, to the most of his ability, the most that the Lord is going to allow him, man. All right. Like I said, it's going to be many more persecutions, many more deaths, many more deportations. This devil is he's swinging at all corners, man. More concentration camps. The devil is about to bring that pressure, and that's why it's important for us, to continue to build and level up in this truth, man. While we can, because this devil isn't letting up. Okay, so I just wanted to briefly touch on that. Just another sign of Jacob's trouble that's to come. All right. So, Lord willing, it was edifying. I'm going to go ahead and close up by giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And until the next time, Shalom.